Now, I think that we could all agree here that Star Wars and Marvel under Disney has been in a very delicate position throughout all of 2023, and 2024 is seemingly going to be worse, with Kathleen Kennedy having a lot of projects such as the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew in her possession, and something that she has full creative power over, mind you, as well as a lot of other things that she's tapping into that we're going to be talking about today. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject revolving around Disney and what's going on with the Star Wars franchise and Kathy Kennedy. Now, one thing about Kathleen Kennedy that we know is that a lot of her ideas, believe it or not, spilled into the Ahsoka Tano series. Dave Filoni allowed some of her ideas to make way into the show. Not that she had all the creative power over that show, but Dave allowed many of the ideas that she insisted to him to become a part of it. But this is where matters get even worse. Now, we know that Kathy Kennedy has been a lot more outspoken lately, a lot more vocal to the community, and really more apparent with her overall approach to Star Wars and what's looming for the next couple of years. We already know that the Lando series is now becoming a Lando movie. This was a Kathleen Kennedy move, a terrible move in my opinion. Who's asking for a Lando Calrissian movie starring Donald Glover? I have no idea. Maybe a small percentage are, but I don't believe the majority of people are going to be hyped up and excited about something like that. So, moving onwards, this is where Kathleen Kennedy had a lot of things to talk about that's actually quite revealing. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm desperately trying to course-correct Star Wars, one major update surrounding Kathleen Kennedy has to do with what she had to say while promoting the Ahsoka series. She went on to deliver the following to the public. While we here at Lucasfilm analyze all of our upcoming films and shows, we felt our best approach was to rethink our strategy, and I couldn't be more happier with the help of Dave Filoni and Mr. Iger for allowing our vision to come true and unfold. Our aim right now with Star Wars is to unburden ourselves from the George Lucas vision of the franchise. This means writing everything on a blank canvas, something that we feel Rian Johnson made a very good contribution to Star Wars with his trilogy that is still on the back burner right now. We will be using many of his ideas into many of our upcoming films and projects. We didn't want to just redo many of the expanded universe books and comics, as we feel that it's just lazy storytelling by copying and pasting stories that fans already know about that would be adapted. Now guys, can I just stop here quick before I get to the next thing that Kathy actually elaborates on? I don't understand people like Mark Webb, the director of Snow White, or Kathleen Kennedy, or many others out there that feel adapting books are lazy ways of storytelling. Look at Lord of the Rings, look at Harry Potter, look at the Hunger Games. They're wildly successful, and they have nothing wrong with them. And I feel that Kathleen Kennedy is just using this as a big, fat excuse to not do anything that would actually make the fans very satisfied, make the fans very happy, and wants to just further double down her agenda with all these nonsense ideas like the Acolyte series, and even in Acolyte Season 2, by the way, as they are now doubling down on making that the new flagship show. We talked about that just yesterday. Kathleen Kennedy talked about that, about how they want to make the Acolyte the show above the Mandalorian series. Alright? That's even all the more concerning, because we know that the Acolyte is a woke mess. It's full of agendas. It has nothing to do with story or character development. Leslie Headland is the showrunner. Alright, we all know who she is. And what she said about George Lucas was absolutely terrible. So, moving onwards, we know that basically what's going on with Ahsoka, love it or hate it, or if you have mixed opinions on it episode by episode, there's a lot of things with this show that I have to point out later on that really just don't fully grasp what Star Wars should really be, in my opinion. I just feel like that it's been an on and off scenario to the point where it's all hit and miss. There's some moments that are good, but there's a lot of moments that are bad in Ahsoka. That's just my take on things. But this is where things get even worse about what Kathleen Kennedy has to say and what she had to reassure all of the fans about when it comes to the future of the franchise and where it's all heading. Alright, so get ready for this. This is where matters get even worse. So, she goes on to elaborate further. When you do that, the suspense is gone. She's talking about adapting the books. We are looking to have Rey become the new leader of the new Jedi Order. She will be the future of this brand and where the Jedi go. Either in a new galaxy or the existing one is still something that we are discussing, since we have so many opportunities. Due to the strikes, we had to pause on our Rey-centric film, but I promise everyone it is still happening and it will transform the franchise before your very own eyes. In the expanded universe, fans got Luke's new Jedi Order. We felt this time it should focus on Rey, taking up the job instead. Of course, we could have just gone back in time and done flashbacks of Luke, setting up his new order, but like I say, that's just lazy storytelling to us here at Lucasfilm. We are looking at the Jedi, the Sith, the Dark, and the Light, and how we can deeply change the meaning of all of this as we propel these stories into the future well after the events of Rise of Skywalker. We couldn't be happier about this vision and having more female-led projects for both film and television. We see the success of this with Ahsoka, and again with the Acolyte, and we will be doing this with Filoni's film, which will also aim to make that into a female-centric installment. There you go again. It's all about making things female-centric, female-driven, all this nonsense that just makes no sense. And what you get out of that, as a result, is no substance. It's true. It's the hard truth, but it's absolutely, the actual truth of it all. There's no substance when you focus on agenda-driven nonsense. So, the fact that they are purposely diverting away from Luke and from the expanded universe stories, if you guys really want to know, also another contributing factor to that, Disney doesn't really want to pay the royalties, from what I heard, of adapting those expanded universe books beat by beat, per se. And so that's another problematic scenario. They don't want to pay royalties if they were to retell and adapt those stories, basically, segment by segment. That's why when you look at the Ahsoka series, it's like a retelling of Heir to the Empire or the Thrawn trilogy, and Dave Filoni's movie will also be a full-on retelling of that as well. So, again, the whole Rey nonsense, they are doubling down on that. That is not stopping. That is going to be, by the way, their first Star Wars film to arrive in theaters since Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And with the writer's strikes and everything happening with SAG, that's likely going to be delayed beyond 2026 again now. It was supposed to be 25, then it was 26. It's probably going to be 27, let's be honest about this. If these strikes go into 2024, which they may very well, you're going to see more delays again. So anyway, I would really love to hear everyone to chime in below in the comments what you think about Kathleen Kennedy's statements about her view of the franchise in the future. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.